Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my experience working for MAC Cosmetics. As a lot of you know, I worked there for almost 3 years, but I've been gone for a little over a year, which is crazy to me because it feels like it was just yesterday. But I posted a picture on Instagram, asked what you guys would want to know, and I've got a ton of questions here, ranging from my experience, what to do if you're trying to get a job there, some of my favorite products, customers, everything. So I've written all these down and we're just going to jump straight into this. I want to start this off by talking about like where I started, because I ended at the MAC store, but I started somewhere else. Initially, I was a freelancer at a Belk. So I worked inside of the Belk at a MAC counter. I was just working the weekends, and I want to say about 3 months in, I got offered the position of a 12-hour artist. I didn't want to work more than that. I had young children at home. As a lot of you know, I have 4 kids, and I wanted to be there during the week because my husband does not work the weekends. So it started there. I progressed into an 18-hour artist, and from there, I ended up moving to the MAC store, and that is like what I always wanted. The MAC store is just, I feel like you learn more, you get more products, everything. Like the whole vibe is so different from a counter inside a department store. As my kids got older, I slowly kept getting more hours until I became a full-time artist, and that's where I was whenever I quit MAC. Now let's get into the questions. The first one is about training and certifications. If you're unaware, you go, it's not certifications like, oh, I'm a certified makeup artist if I work for MAC. That's not how it is. You're just certified through MAC. You start off by going to basic training, which it's in the name, it's just all the basics. And that's about a week long, and you come back and they give you a little bit of time at the counter, but then you are going to have to pass a application certification. If you cannot pass that, you can't stay with MAC. I don't know anybody who has not passed it, but basically they want to see you apply makeup to somebody using techniques, talking to them, because one of the things, you're not just an artist, you're also a salesperson. So you have to be talking about why you're doing something, why you're using certain products, brushes, everything else, why you're doing this makeup. After you've gotten that certification, you can now put makeup on other people, you're set to go, and after that, everything else is just something you want to get. There's like advanced 1, advanced 2, there's all this different training you can get. And for me, that was the most stressful because I remember I did my first one, and Kelsey Brianna J, I could shoot her. I had to go to work. I rode in on my motorcycle. I literally was not working that day. I just needed to get my certification done. And you have to do all these different things for each certification. You have 10 minutes to do each one. And one of them was a lash application. She has the most sensitive eyes in the entire world. And she kept like backing up and she would blink and she felt bad. But I knew, like, I was laughing because I'm like, whatever. So I didn't pass that one. It was because of her little sensitive eyes, but I got to redo it. But you have 10 minutes, and basically they show you a picture. Let's say for the eyelashes, they're going to show you a picture and they're not going to tell you what you need to use, but you need to make Boo Boo's eyes look just like that girl. Usually it requires cutting lashes, applying 2 sets, everything bottom, top, it's a lot. And if you don't get the lashes right, if in their little book it says, well, that's number 7 and number 35, and if you're not using the right ones, you are not going to pass. And to this day, the sound of the alarm for the 10 minutes being up, like no matter where I hear it, because it's on an iPhone, like our trainer had it on the iPhone, and I cringed when I hear that noise. I'm gonna play it for you. The noise is radar, so it's just gonna play one time, but it would go over and over again on the certifications. No, I hated hearing that noise. Like, it was not okay. So now every time I hear that noise, it literally stresses me out. I get so stressed because I just think about the certifications and how, like, you're just so anxious and stressed. Well, there's this one time I was about to have my advanced 1, like the end of my advanced 1 certification, and I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm prepared for this, and this was right before I had my partial knee replacement. And right when I'm about to step toward the model and start the application, I stepped and my knee, oh my God, like I immediately started like tearing up. It hurt so bad. And so, of course, this ruined my certification for me. I was relieved because the trainer, he knew that that is why I couldn't take it. I was in so much pain. I didn't pass it. He was like, calm down, relax. And he let me do it again. And I passed it the second time, but I will never forget that. It was like humiliating too. And that leads into the next question, which is makeup tips and tricks that have stayed with me that I learned at MAC. The reason why I got good at eyeliner and a red lip was because of those certifications. With the red lip especially, I really struggled with that because they would show you a picture and it would be at an angle, and the lip shape, if there's a little bit of orange in the center, if the top was matte and the bottom had gloss, like it had to be perfect. You had to alter your model's lip shape and everything to look exactly like the picture. Because of the extent of detail that you had to pay attention to, I now pay attention to that. I learned to step back. You have got to step back. A lot of the times whenever you're looking straight at your client, things look, oh yeah, this looks good. But when you step back, you can see, oh, well, this is shifted a little bit. This isn't even, the pigmentation isn't right there. That is one of the biggest things I can tell you, especially if you're working on somebody else. I can tell you how many times I was told to stand back before I actually ended up doing it. And with eyeliner, again, applying on somebody else, it's really easy for me to do stuff on myself, but on somebody else, I always wanted to use a really tiny little brush and make sure that I got it, and I would never get it done in time because I'm using this itsy bitsy little brush, and again, not standing back. So I figured out if I used a bigger brush and actually just believed in myself and made the line that I needed to make and get it done, it happened so much easier, so much quicker. How is it to work for MAC? Incentives, discounts, and freebies. So you get 60% off all of MAC products. However, if a new launch comes out and it's in special packaging, you have to wait 2 weeks before you get your discount. Everything else you're gonna get 60% off on. Now I'll tell you, when I started with MAC, it was a year before I got my card so that I could get my discount. It was very frustrating. Freebies, gratis-wise, they used to be way more givey with that, but now usually they will give you 1 to 2 pieces from a collection that comes out. If there's a foundation, you're gonna get it. A concealer, you're gonna get it, but usually you're gonna get 1 to 2 pieces from a collection, and a lot of times it's not in that special packaging. How to succeed as a freelancer. This is huge because I saw it all the time. Freelancers that would want to be permanent artists, but they didn't bust their butt. Oh, I don't have a goal to really meet. Oh, you know, I'm not going to get in trouble for not doing this, this, or this. No, you have to think like a MAC artist in order to become a MAC artist. If you are slacking as a freelancer, when you actually want something, you're going to be even worse as a actual artist. And I don't mean that to be ugly, but usually if somebody wants something badly enough, then they're gonna put in that extra effort, and then when you actually have it, you get comfortable. So the biggest thing I can tell you is if you are a freelancer, act like you are already an artist. And when I'm saying artist, I'm just saying MAC artist. You have got to outperform. You have to show your knowledge and stand out. Make sure that you are doing your absolute best and you will get seen. Let's talk about the MAC girl stigma and why people are now resorting to shopping online. This one hits home with me, like I'm a little salty about it. I was never that girl. I was always trying to help people. I'm smiling. If you needed help, I am there for you, but I know exactly what you guys are talking about. You walk into a store and you've got a black cloud, meaning all these beautiful girls and boys dressed in black all hovered behind the counter. They're not greeting you because they're not paying attention. They aren't talking to you. They aren't doing anything but chattering with one another, and that seems very closed off. It's very impersonal, and MAC was definitely trying very hard to get that to stop, but I saw it all the time. And it doesn't mean that they're necessarily even gossiping about you or not wanting to help you, but I guess to an extent they are not wanting to help because they would rather be talking to their friend. I hate the MAC girl stigma, I really do, but I do understand it. And there are also times where, an artist is cleaning lipsticks, and you're walking in and you're like, okay, can you help me? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. A, they should be helping you. They should at least be acknowledging your existence, saying, hey, welcome to MAC. I'm just right here cleaning these lipsticks. If you need some help, let me know. However, that's not what they're doing, because they don't want to talk to you, because they're trying to clean those lipsticks so they can leave. That's just the truth of the matter. But that's not what you see as a customer. You see somebody not wanting to help, or you think they're snubbing you. And I do agree that sometimes that's happened. I can tell you that right as I was walking out the door of MAC, it was becoming a huge thing. Like, everybody had to be on the floor. You're not allowed to be just behind the counter. You had to greet. Everybody in the store actually had to greet you. And I found that to be obnoxious as hell. You know, everyone, like in my store, there'd be 8, 10 people, and every single, hey, one person walking through that door. Oh my gosh, it was so much. But MAC knows that this is happening, and they are definitely trying to fix it. I don't know if it's too late or not, because the stigma is definitely there. Interviewing tips. Number 1, do not show up for any interview not wearing all black. When I tell you I know that someone did not get a job because they were wearing brown shoes, I am not kidding. You have got to be in all black. Have your makeup done well. It doesn't matter if it's a bunch of color or it's very natural. It just needs to be done really well. It needs to speak to who you are. If you're wearing really bright makeup and you're really shy, it's a little confusing. It makes us think, okay, did you do all this because you're trying to impress us, but that's not really who you are? Just be yourself and feel confident. Know your level of artistry. Even if you are a beginner, it's okay. I had never put makeup on a soul before I started at MAC, and my very first client was a bride. Which leads us into the next question. What level of experience do you need? Technically, you don't really need experience applying makeup on anyone. It's preferred. You don't need to go to school or anything like that. You just need to know the basics. And basically, MAC thinks if you are bubbly, if you can sell makeup and you show promise and you listen, if you don't listen to critique or anything like that, they're not gonna want to hire you. They're gonna think, oh, well, she knows everything, she or he knows everything there is to makeup. We can't teach them anymore. There's no point in them being here. Favorite memory working at MAC. This one is not gonna be a singular one, because when I think about MAC and when I was the happiest and the most excited, all of that, it was when I was working with Kelsey. I know that sounds so crazy, but she and I, we made work fun, and we bounced off each other so well. Like, we would have the customers just laughing, and it was, I miss that so much. I wish we could work together again, but that was my favorite memory or memories, was always working with her, and that was at the Belk store. Hiring process, how long does it take? So you're gonna have to go in, you're gonna have to actually apply, then you're going to have to do makeup on your model, and then you're gonna have interviews with managers. It's a process right there. But then even after I got hired, it was months before I even actually started. I had to keep calling, and if you know that you've got the job or anything like that, make sure you stay on top of it, because sometimes it's just paperwork or something silly, and I've heard a lot of people say that, not just me. It was literally at least 3 months after I had found out I got the job that I had even started. Somebody wants to know about Masterclasses and what they entail. So at my store, when I was at the MAC store, I was product specialist, and I got to pretty much do all of the trainings while I was there, or the Masterclasses, I'm sorry. And it basically is going to be on different things. Each masterclass was different. So one time I did a class on highlight and contour on different skin tones and shapes, and then one time it was about brows and I don't know, I think it was like a daytime appropriate look. And then there was one that was just all glam. It was really focused on the eyes. Another time it was about bring your own makeup bag, and we would see what you already had, what you needed to add to it, and we actually had several different artists there that was helping each individual person. It's really specific. You have to investigate, like, okay, well, there's a masterclass going on this day. What is it about? Next up, we have IPT AUS, and back to MAC lipstick. So I'm going to do all of these all at once. IPT stands for items per transaction. If your item, and it's going to be an average, your IPT better not be a 1, and really it shouldn't even be a 2. You want it to be 3 or higher. That is MAC's way of knowing if you are clerking. So are you just, somebody comes in, they need a mascara, you grab the mascara and you bring them to the counter. That's not cool. I know sometimes people just want to get their mascara, but a MAC artist is supposed to be like, oh, have you tried this? You know, what about a mascara primer? You know what, with those beautiful lashes, this shadow is going to be amazing with you. Let me sit you down and we're going to pop it on real quick. How much time you got? You know, it's this whole spill. So they don't want you to, oh, you need a mascara? Let's take it to the counter and you'll be on your way. You want the items per transaction to be higher. AUS is your average sale. It needs to be at the MAC store. It was higher. Like it had to be, I want to say it was like 50. And then at the Belk store, it was only like 45, but you don't want to have your average sale be a bunch of mascaras. So then your average sale will be $20, $25. You want it to be higher. So you want your items per sale and your amount of sale to be higher. And then have you ever gotten somebody to kind of switch on you? You're like, hey, I want my free back to MAC lipstick, and they were really willing to help you, and then they're like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom actually. The items per sale and average sale is the reason for that. I have caught myself a few times being like, oh, another one, because I would be doing really well throughout the day. And then all of a sudden I had somebody who just wanted to come in for their MAC lipstick or their eyeshadow, their freebie, you know, they're turning in 6 and getting 1 for free. And I wish that MAC didn't do that. Like sometimes you just want to go in, get your freebie and get out. You don't want to buy anything. You want your free thing, you know, but with that system, if I ring up a free lipstick for you, that is a $0 sale and a 1 item. So you just brought my numbers down quite a bit. Now, I don't agree with people turning away or not wanting to help you because of this. I hate that. I never did that. It would, like, inside, I would be thinking, oh no, but you need help no matter what. And you guys don't know that coming in that, oh, well, I get this freebie, I'm going to be messing up her numbers. And that's not for every store. It didn't happen at the Belk store. It was only at the MAC store. So at Belk, I was like, oh yeah, how many free ones do you need? You know, it didn't matter to me at all because I didn't even have to ring it up. I kept the box, marked it, you know, it was whatever. Now at the store is a little bit different. So if you ever have that kind of interaction, know that's what's going on. Hey, call them out on it. Be like, I know your IPT and AUS is going down, but I still want my free lipstick. Now we're going to get into the product questions. The first question is my favorite MAC foundations. I've got 2. I love them so much, and they are the Studio Water Weight. If you like a dewy, lightweight finish, that's your thing. And then Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof. That is a concealer and foundation in one, and it is beautiful. Full coverage, but it's nourishing, it's hydrating, and I just love it so much, and it's 24-hour wear. Top 5 favorite lip colors, and I will insert a swatch at the end. This was hard for me. They are in no particular order. I'm literally just going to grab them and tell you guys about them. This one is Velvet Teddy. Most of my favorites are the matte formula or satin. I liked those the most, and of course, a lot of them are going to be nudes. The next one is Viva Glam 3. This is a satin. Again, another nude. This is a pinky nude. And we've got Lady Danger. I love Lady Danger. He's my little nub. This is an orangey red. I love orangey reds. Like, that's my favorite kind of red. My favorite kind of bright lipstick. And corals, like really bright corals. I love them. And like deep. Persistence. If you are deeper skin toned and you do not have persistence, we need to have a come to MAC talk because you need persistence. And last but certainly not least, we have Yash. Ugh, That's just one of my all-time favorite nudes in general. Top 10 MAC items. This was hard, you guys, because there's a lot of MAC items that I just love so much, and some of them just didn't make this list. So again, no particular order, I'm just going to grab. And the first one is this primer. This is Natural Radiance. A lot of people think of this and think, oh, it's for hydration. I can't use that if I'm oily. Incorrect. This also controls oil. It does both. It hydrates and controls oil. This pretty much works for everybody, and it's actually one of my absolute favorites when it comes to primers. We just talked about this one. This is the Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof. In my mind, this is the best, like, of all of the foundations at MAC. I love this for all over, and I also love it for just touching up little areas that I have, like discoloration or an acne blemish when I have on a thinner foundation. Definitely use that with a sponge though, because you don't want it to be too thick on the skin. Next up, we have the Extra Dimension Skin Finishes. This is in the shade Double Gleam. I love that they came back out with this. Like, it's so good. It's very smooth. It's high impact. I don't know if I can get a swatch right there, but I'm so happy that they made those permanent. Give Me Sun. This is like one of my all-time favorite bronzers. Even when I'm my fairest, I can still use this. I like to use the 135 from MAC and just dust it all over. Blends really nicely. It's a matte, but it has like almost a sheen to it without it really being detectable on the skin. It just makes it look more skin-like. Beautiful. The next two are also in the Mineralized Skin Finish range. This is the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. This is just the powder. This gives you a beautiful velvety texture on the skin. It's very smoothing. Will add about a medium coverage on top of your foundation. Love it. And this is one that nobody talks about. I bought backups of this whenever it was limited. This is Warm Rose. Now, this is part of like the highlighter part of their collection. However, it's not real highlighty. What I like about this is it has a little bit of a reflection to it that's very smooth. There's no glitters in here. There's no chunks of anything. It's super smooth. It's kind of like that Pro Shaping Powder, emphasize, yeah, but less of a sheen, and it just brightens up really, really beautifully. I need to pull this back out because I love it so much. If you are fair, use this underneath your eyes to brighten and you will love it. OG right here, this is MAC's Warm Soul, and this is the original one. I still love the newer version with the prettier package, but this one is better. This just gives, it works on so many people. You can be cool toned, warm toned, anything, and wear this. It's a warm, rosy peach shade. It's just beautiful, and the sheen is gorgeous. Number 7, Lash. I do not have this in my collection right now. I need to go to MAC and actually pick some up, but I love this lash. I love it so much. It looks a little different on me now because my lashes are so long that it fills in the little spikes, but this is an oddly natural but a little bit more dramatic lash set that just looks so good. I love them, especially with a red lip and a winged liner. It's perfection. Next two are a daily use item for me. The first one, MAC Extended Plate in Gigablack. This is the only mascara I use on my lower lash line. Again, tubing, not gonna end up all over your face. Amazing, has a little tiny little wand. I don't love it for the top lashes because I don't get enough volume, but if you have small lashes and you don't like a big wand, this one's really nice. Skin Refine Zone, every single day, dot, helps keep my pores cleaned out and helps to control the oil. And also, if you have pilling from your smoothing primer, if you're putting this underneath, it's going to grab and it's not going to pill up on you. And lastly, pretty much all matte lipsticks from MAC. They are such a good formula. Price range is nice. They have a nice range of colors. I do wish they would update it a little bit, but overall, you can't go wrong with a matte MAC lipstick. Holy Grail product from MAC, Skin Refine Zone, that's easy. When I was working there, what products sold the most? Easy again. Studio Fix Fluid, Studio Fix Powder, Fix Plus, and Pro Longwear Concealer. Those are the oldies but the goodies everybody wanted. I sold so many Studio Fix powders and fluids that it was insane. Best-selling lipstick and liner at the time as well. When I first started, it was definitely Soar lip liner, you know, the Kardashians, or Jenners, I'm sorry. And then it was Velvet Teddy lipstick all the time, all day. But then Whirl lipstick came out, and Soar kind of went into the Whirl lip liner and the Whirl lipstick. That was all I ever sold. Products that I hated, but people bought anyway. There's 3 that I can think of right off the top of my head, and I just don't really like them, period. But there are some products that I don't necessarily love, but do work for others. Now, these 3 I just don't like because there's better options out there. The first one, the MAC Transparent or Translucent Powder, I don't like it. I think it's too white. It gives a little bit of a flashback, and people buy it all the time, and it would get returned, and it would drive me nuts. The second one is the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Smoother. They don't even make this anymore. I had to find it. This is at Nordstrom Rack, I think. It comes in like the powder compact, and then this silicone-y whatever. It does work to smooth things out, but it moves. And that's probably why it's being discontinued, because nobody likes it, but people would buy it anyway. They would come in like, oh, I need this. They would feel it. I'm like, no, you don't, no, you don't, but they wouldn't listen to me. And then the last one's kind of along the same lines. It is the matte cream. So people would want to use this on their pores to smooth out and mattify their pores, and I would try to show them the Skin Refine Zone. Again, they would not listen to me. This is so silicone-y feeling that, again, you end up more oily than you probably would have been if you hadn't put anything there at all. I don't like this. The only thing I like this for is to make a lipstick matte. You can take a lipstick, put it on, and dab this over, kind of like, I think it was Smashbox. Go figure, the same thing. And it would make it matte. And my trainer was what showed me that, but I hate it on the face. And there's actually one more. I'm sorry. And it is another primer. And this is only because oily people would buy it, and that's always who bought it, and it drove me bonkers. It is the Skin Base from MAC. It comes in a little pump. It has like a little bit of radiance to it. It's very smoothing. Oh, it's beautiful. Like, it works really, really well. However, if you are oily, this does claim to control oil, but again, it's too silicone-y, and I get more oily than I would have without the primer to begin with. If you are normal, you will like this. If you are dry, it's gonna be too dry for you. Basically, I only like it if you want some smoothing and you're just normal. Customers, how to approach a difficult customer, a mean customer, a picky customer. Basically, just listen. Listen to them. If you are talking over them, you're going to make them more angry, more anxious, or not trust you to begin with. Listen to what they are telling you, repeat it back to them, and make sure that you are having understanding. That's the biggest thing. If they are too picky, again, listening to them and showing them what you think you're talking about. Whip that phone out and be like, is this the color that you are describing to me? Because this is what I have in my head. And a lot of times, like, no, that's not what I want at all. Like, that's what you're saying, though. A lot of times people will be like, oh, I want natural makeup. No, they don't. They want Kim Kardashian. So have them really tell you what they are wanting. If it's something like, oh, I want this winged eye, but they have a fold right here, and you know you can't do that for them, and they're being super picky about it, show it to them. That's the biggest and easiest thing to do. Do not do their entire face and then do it afterwards. Say, you know, I know you want this wing liner, but I don't know that it's going to be the best for your facial features. And do not be ugly. There's things you do not say. You've got wrinkly eyes. I can't do this. Don't say that. Show it to them. Like, this is what I can do. Do you like that look? And don't discourage them either. If they like the way that wing liner looks, do it for them. They need to go out that door happy. And just because you don't like something doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like it. And I have a huge issue with that. If that girl likes that purple lipstick on her that makes her look dead, let her live her best life. Mean clients, I'm just super nice to. Ridiculously nice to you. And a lot of times at the end of it, they end up being nice back. Was it easier on normal skin? What about texture, wrinkles, etc. when applying makeup? I can do makeup on somebody with perfect skin in 5 minutes, and you're gonna look like I spent an hour because you just have good genes. Now, if you have troublesome areas on clients, you just have to know your products. You have to know what works for oily pores and what works well for wrinkles. And you have to practice these things. So you have to be comfortable and know that you are good at what you do before ever coming to that client. If you aren't, you need to grab backup. So grab your friend over there, let them know what's going on. Like, hey, you know, I'm not super comfortable with this. Can you give me some pointers? Or even come over and kind of chat, but also give pointers at the same time. Everybody will feel more comfortable. Favorite and worst clients. So the first one being my favorite is one that I had to work real hard for. And I think that the reason why it's my favorite is because it just makes me laugh because how much she loved me when she was so unconfident in the beginning. So it was a woman and her daughter, and she was getting their makeup done for her, I think it was her 16th birthday, and it was going to be like this huge event. Both deeper skin tones, and I'm just a little white girl here. They're like, there's no way she can do this, but I'm confident, you know, I can do it. And she kept, the woman would be like, are you gonna do this? What are you gonna do about this? Da, 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 da. And she kept trying, and I had to literally step back, smile, and like, I know how to do my job. I promise you your daughter's gonna look amazing at the end of this. And girl, she looked amazing, and the woman got my phone number. She only wanted to work with me, and I loved her for it. I like to change people's minds, especially when they really doubt me and then they end up loving me. It's like my favorite thing ever. Worst client, I don't have one specifically, but in general, the ones that just don't listen to you. You ask me a question, I give you my expert opinion, and I know what I'm talking about, and I know that this is going to work, but you battle me on it, and then you keep coming back when your solution to the problem doesn't work, and you keep returning things and returning things and returning things, and then at the end, you end up buying what I suggested and love it. I'm like, girl. Most memorable customer, I love this girl. This was in my first year at MAC, and I think I talked about this in a previous video. There was this woman, I saw her, and this was at Belk. There was a large mirror in the center, and she was at it like frantically trying to put makeup back on, and I could see her struggle. I knew that she was trying to cover something back up. I know how that feels. I've struggled with my skin my entire life, and so I approached her, and I think that she didn't want to be seen, and she kind of like, I don't know, she kind of shelled over a little bit and kind of described, she was like, you know, I'm trying to find something that will cover, and she had a little bit of skin issues, and she was very self-conscious about it. She was also dry, so I showed her MAC Studio Sculpt, and she cried. Like, she teared up. Not full on crying, but she was so happy when I applied this makeup, and how confident she felt at the end of it. It warmed my heart so much, because going from that struggle and desperation to not be seen by anybody to finally just feeling like, you know, you get a little bit more straightened in your posture and you feel better. I love that. Celebrity clients. This was so much fun for me because I would be like, I don't even know who you are. I do not treat a celebrity like anybody else. I'm not going to acknowledge that I know who you are. I'm not going to be weird, you know. I want you to come back. I have put makeup on a Victoria's Secret model, I think Eldridge, something like that. She came in and she needed a new foundation and this and that, and it was just like, oh my God. When I tell you that she's perfect, she's perfect. And then there was also the Bachelorette came in with her fiance, and we also met Reba McEntire, and then Pharrell Williams passed by the store, and I will never forget, there's a girl named Kenya there, and she's like, looked up, that's Pharrell. I was like, yes, it is. Crazy people coming in. And I don't mean like actually crazy, but you know, crazy instances. The one that I remember the most was a woman, and she was so drunk. I mean, gone. And she was so loud, but she was funny. She was a funny drunk, and she just kept on. She was like, and she bought everything, and she wanted everything, and she just was feeling life. She wanted all the makeup on her face. She was playing with everybody at the store, and it was just, it was the funniest thing. The very last question. This one I had to wait and take some time before I answered, which is why this video is just now being done. But why did I leave MAC? I personally feel like MAC as a brand started to struggle because they didn't get on social media. They didn't do the route that everybody else did. You know, MAC doesn't advertise. Well, when times change, you need to change. And I feel like they started to put that pressure on their artists. And again, it went from artistry into selling. I found myself having a lot of anxiety. I felt like I was always being pushed. Things were just never good enough. Of course, there's cattiness, and you know, that's just gonna happen no matter where you're at. But I started to cry all the time. I would get so upset because I think I was trying so hard, and I was the top performer for my my store. And that's not to toot my horn. That's just to show how hard I was trying and how hard I was working. I really wanted to give it my best, do absolutely everything I could, and I felt like I was, but I had so much anxiety. It was, you know, I made my goal today and it was $500 over. So I would go home thinking, okay, tomorrow, if I don't make my goal, I still have this $500 cushion. And I would stress every single day. So I would go to work and I would be like, okay, hustle's on. And then I would have this relief. And then I would have this anxiety again of starting the next day all over. And it was always something. I always felt that there was just something that I was stressed out about. So when I went and I had my partial knee replacement at the end of that experience, I said to myself, okay, if I am still feeling this way when I get back, because I'm going to have this, 4-month break, and, I kind of thought that maybe my knee and the pain was contributing to my anxiety and just making everything overflow. I was like, if this isn't better whenever I get back, I have to go. So I got back 3 days in and I was upset again. So I was just like, I started looking, and I actually went and I was applying for Chanel, and I ended up getting the beauty stylist position. So I am very grateful to MAC. Would I do this all over again knowing where I am right now? 100%. I owe a lot of my knowledge to MAC, to the trainers. The trainers are everything. They will be, if you work for MAC, listen to what they say, especially if you have a great one like I did. Listen to them, take advice. You will learn so much. And I met Kelsey, and then at the end of the day, I don't believe I would be where I am right now without that experience. So for that, I am always grateful. That's it, you guys. I think I answered all of your questions. If I missed something or you're curious about something, just leave it down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.